This lesson is on economy of movement. Economy of movement is a fancy term, and it basically means you're trying to minimise all your movements when you're playing the guitar. It's fairly logical why we want to do this, and once you understand why it's a good idea, it sort of helps you do it and to be more mindful of it when you see that it's going to have advantages for you. So just talk to you a little bit about economy of movement. If you notice when I'm playing a note, so I'm playing one note there and then I'm taking my finger off, playing that one and I'm taking it off, and also with this hand here I'm just plucking the string with my nail, and you can see that my hand's not moving much. There's not a lot of unnecessary movement, so it's not like I'm plucking it, coming out here and then going back in. I'm keeping my hand always close to the guitar. It's never coming too far away. It's just a little flick to make the sound, and here it's just, and it's coming off a little bit, then it's going back on, and then it's maybe going there. So no matter what I'm doing when I'm playing the guitar, I'm trying to minimise my movement. And it makes sense that the less you move, there's two factors: the less you move, the quicker you'll be able to do anything, and also the less you move, the less room there is for something to go wrong. If you see somebody who's just learning the guitar, or someone who's learned the guitar pretty badly, they'll be playing the guitar like this. So the fingers are moving an awful lot, and this hand's coming way out here. And then they'll hit a wrong note because there's too much movement, it's not efficient, there's too much room for things to go wrong. If somebody good's playing the guitar, it looks really easy, and it's so because I'm moving less, I'm able to do it faster, and there's less room for things to go wrong, so I make less mistakes. So economy of movement is something that we really want to harness and understand, and we want to understand why we're doing it. The reason we're doing it is because the less you move, the quicker you'll be able to do things, and there's less room for things to go wrong. This is really important, so I will be referring back to this video throughout my website, and I will be harping on about economy of movement in every lesson to remind you to always try and minimise your movement. It's the same with chords. The less you move, the easier it will be when you change from that chord to that chord. There's no unnecessary movement, it's all fluid. This hand as well, it's just moving a little bit. As you can see, it's just, and it's going back to where it started. So you're always trying to limit the amount you're moving. Less is more. If you move too much, things will go wrong. So economy of movement is something you always want to keep in your head when you're playing the guitar. You always want to be analysing your movement, having a look to see, is there any movements that I can omit, anything that I can make smaller, any movements I can make smaller. Are there any unnecessary movements that I don't need to be making? For example, changing a chord. You're changing from that chord to this chord. So that's a C chord to an A minor chord. I don't know whether you know them or not, and it doesn't really matter, but the point is that I'm not taking those two fingers, sorry, that finger and that finger stay in the same place, and I'm just moving one finger. And before I do it, I've planned that that finger, I know where it wants to go. It wants to tuck underneath that one. So you're going from there to there, and I've omitted any unnecessary movement, and that means I'm able to do it smoothly and quickly. The less movement you have, the better when you're playing the guitar. So that's called economy of movement, and that's a very important fundamental that we want to harness. It's very powerful, and it's very powerful whether you've been playing the guitar for a long time or if you're just getting started. Always try and cut down unnecessary movement, and your guitar playing will start to sound much better. We're trying to make things as easy as possible. People who are good at things make things look easy. It's not necessarily because they are easy, it's just because they've found a good way to do it, and they've thought about it quite logically. I hope what I've said in this lesson sense to you, because if it does, then you're more likely to embrace the idea. So that was Economy of Movement.